Let me tell you a story. Two people are sitting in the same cafe. They're the same age, same city, same phone, same coffee. From the outside, they look identical, but one of them will struggle with money their entire life, and the other will quietly become wealthy. Not because of luck, not because of connections, not because of intelligence, but because they think about money in completely different ways. And here's the scary part. The poorer mindset feels normal. The wealthy mindset feels wrong at first. Today, I'll walk you through the exact psychological differences that separate the top 1% from everyone else. Not theories, not motivation, but how their minds are wired. And if you stay until the end, you'll realize why most people, without knowing it, are trained to lose money, while the top 1% are trained to multiply it. Part 1. The invisible programming. Let's start with something uncomfortable. Most people believe they control their money decisions. They don't. Their decisions were programmed years ago. Think about this. When you were growing up, what did you hear about money? Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. Play it safe. At least you have a stable job. These sentences feel harmless, but psychologically they do something dangerous. They attach fear and morality to money. Now compare that to what the top 1% heard. Money is a tool. Risk is normal. Mistakes are feedback. Time is more valuable than effort. One group grows up seeing money as something to protect. The other sees it as something to deploy. And that single difference changes everything. Part 2. How the top 1% see money. Here's the first major psychological difference. Most people see money as a reward. The top 1% see money as a lever. For the average person, if I work hard, I deserve money. For the top 1%, if I place money correctly, it works for me. This is why most people feel guilty when money sits unused, but the wealthy feel anxious when money sits idle. Idle money equals wasted potential. That's why the top 1% ask different questions. How do I get paid while I sleep? How do I buy time? How do I make this scalable? They're not obsessed with money. They're obsessed with systems. Part 3. The risk illusion. Most people believe the top 1% love risk. They don't. They hate unnecessary risk. Here's the twist. The average person avoids investing $1,000, but risks 40 years in a job they hate. That's not safety. That's delayed danger. The top 1% understand something subtle. The riskiest move is pretending nothing will change. So instead of betting everything, they test small, fail fast, adjust quickly. They don't gamble, they experiment. And psychologically, experiments feel safe because failure is expected. Part 4, time versus ego. This is where most people lose. Ego. The average person wants to look successful. The top 1% want to be effective. That's why they hire faster, delegate earlier, ask stupid questions, let others outperform them. They don't attach their identity to being the smartest person in the room. They attach it to results. And this frees up their time. Time is the real currency. Money just follows it. Part 5. Delayed pleasure versus delayed regret. Here's another uncomfortable truth. Most people choose immediate comfort. The top 1% choose future freedom. Same money, different psychology. One buys things to feel rich. The other buys assets to become rich. One asks, can I afford this? The other asks, what does this cost me in 10 years? This isn't discipline. It's perspective. When you see the future clearly, sacrifice feels logical, not painful. To part 6. Why most people never cross over. Here's why this gap rarely closes. The mindset shift feels unnatural. Thinking like the top 1% feels arrogant, risky, selfish, uncomfortable. Because it goes against social conditioning. Most people don't fail financially. They self-correct back to average. Every time they get close to thinking differently, guilt pulls them back. The top 1% push through that discomfort. Not because they're better people, but because they understand the game. In part 7, the quiet truth. Here's the quiet truth no one tells you. The top 1% don't wake up motivated. They wake up aligned. Their money decisions match their identity. They don't chase money. They design environments where money flows naturally. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. So let me ask you something. What if the problem was never how hard you work, but how you think about money? What if wealth isn't about effort, but about perception? The moment you change the lens, everything else follows.